In this screencast, we'll be going over presentation guidelines. There's a separate tab for presentations unless otherwise stated in class or changes are made to specific presentations. This rubric should be used for all presentations in this class. So when we take a look at the rubric, you're looking at these areas. This section right here is really just looking at like body language, presentation type skills. And then we have some other items. So you'll be scored on your content accuracy, which is what this section indicates. And you want to be able to show that you understand the topic and you have an in-depth content understanding right here. And there are certain keywords that I'll be looking for each particular topic that demonstrate you thoroughly understand your topic and you did the appropriate research. Timing, if there is a time limit, that time limit must be followed, even though it indicates here 3 minutes. This could change based on specific presentations, so we might want to hold off on that particular section. And each presentation could possibly be different with regard to time. You want to be able to memorize the presentation. I will allow you to use notes, and you can glance at some of these items. If you take a couple of glances, I'll probably score you here. And if you're constantly just have notes in front of you and you're reading and you're covering your face, you'll probably fall in this particular category. I will also be looking for body language. You probably don't want to go up there and hesitate when you're speaking. You want to make sure that you're using some sort of motion and you're not just standing still, looking nervous. As far as organization, when you're using slideshows, you want to take note of this section here, as well as these 3 points. Your presentation should have some sort of progression. If you're talking about cats in slide 1 and slide 2, you should continue talking about cats and not transition into a conversation about dogs unless for some reason it's appropriate. When you look at the guidelines here, I'm looking for a minimum of 10 slides, and you should be moving through those slides rapidly. And images on the slideshow should coincide with what you are presenting to the class. Do not use text, as this section right here indicates. Slides with just text could potentially be problematic. There could be an exception if you are given a topic where you have to analyze like a law or a document. That would be the exception, but for the most part, you want to use images that are helping to tell tell the story that you're trying to communicate to the audience. Then you have these other deductions. If you do not seem prepared, you seem to be stopping, hesitating, that could be problematic. And does not use this topic to the student's advantage. This section right here, certain topics are unique and could be a starting point for certain content. In certain areas, if you're not addressing and recognizing the significance of the topic, that could be an issue. For example, if we're looking at World War II, the end of World War II, and you do not focus on the atomic bomb that the United States detonates on Japan, that could be problematic. That would be crucial piece of information for that topic. So that's kind of the way that this rubric is going to work. You want to make sure you have a bunch of slides, no text, and I'll be looking at these areas. If for some reason in your presentation you could be scored right here in the middle, this line, and then that would be a half deduction. So for content accuracy, if you're wrong, it's a -4, but if I score you here, then the deduction will be a -2. I'm going to give you a sample here and try to give you a couple of guidelines. So the topic here is a summary of class presentation topics. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is address all 32 of these topics here, and that could be quick. I mean, if I'm spending 30 seconds on each item, That's 32 times 30. I'm going to be here for a while. So I'm just going to go through a couple of them. And I want you to notice that I'm going to be moving through the slides. So the first item up, looking at the rubric, there's no sequence of information. Presentation information jumps around. So this one could be an issue because you have so many different various topics. So I'm just going to start off by saying my presentation is designed to give you an understanding of various class topics. And the first issue that we are going to address is stratification. Stratification is when you have any society that has some sort of class system in place. For example, the India caste system, we could see a system of stratification in place where you have people at the top and people at the bottom and different responsibilities and expectations for people in the various classes. We could also look at European feudalism as well as class in America. So what I'm trying to do here is establish some sort of historical connection to the term stratification. When we have a society of classes, we are recognizing that you have various societies that have implemented some sort of system of stratification. And these are the examples that I've chosen to use. And how does that work in the United States? This could vary based on the individual that you ask. So here I just did a Google search for class in America, and these are the items that have come up. Notice that for this particular chart, they've chose to use salary as an indication of class and what allows entrance into any of those particular class. They also are looking at education. And again, my topic here is a summary of various class topics. One way to eliminate system of stratification could be communism. So communism and capitalism are different ways to organize a society's economy. In communism, the end goal is to have everybody of the same class, and that eliminates the system of stratification. In capitalism, people own the factors of production if they're able to obtain them, and they are allowed to use the factors of production to go into business. And you have a society that has different classes. Another difference with communism, the factors of production are owned by the government, whereas here they're owned by the people. So again, my topic was to look at various class topics, and I addressed the items 1, 2, and 3 that focused on class systems. So when we go back to the rubric, this one could be a little different because the end goal was to just give a summary of various classes, class issues, and not really focusing on just one. For example, if we were given the topic of communism, you probably would have to go into a lot of slides and maybe give us examples of class system and exactly explain what those factors of productions are like in comparison to a capitalist system that has the ownership different in comparison to capitalism with regard to factors of production. So that's it. I'm not going to go through all of these particular slides, but I just wanted to give you an idea of, in this case, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slides, and I tried to devote about 30 seconds to each. And maybe you want to highlight certain areas as I did here with the class indicator using economics or one salary. That's it.